Out here, St. George, man, it just feels good. And I got my Croatian jacket on here, which, you know, they've been in the World Cup, tiny country to be second in the World Cup, pretty amazing. So love that, beautiful place, amazing place. So, you know, I gotta, you know, say bok to my, you know, Hrvatski friends, you know, my Hrvati. So anyways, but today I wanted to talk to you about COVID. Have you had COVID? I'd love to hear if you've had it, if you've been tested for it, if you know someone that's had it. But I wanted to talk about my experience with it. I didn't actually post anything about this, but this will be a lot easier to explain anyway. So I'm kind of going to go into that, but then also like what I think, just something we have to keep in mind around COVID and just not miss the point. And so anyways, back to COVID. So it was just after Halloween, and, you know, Amy was feeling kind of sick. She was feeling like tired, you know, but we also have a newborn. So it's kind of like, is that just me being tired? Her back was kind of hurting. But again, she was like doing the hair, or like cutting her brother's hair the day before. And so all this stuff, it's like, it was just kind of, she's kind of reasoned it away. Oh, it's like this, it's the baby, it's, you know, doing these different things. And so she didn't really even think about it. I started feeling sick on like a Friday. And I remember, I think it was Thursday night actually. So it's like Thursday night, I was going to bed and I just felt like kind of chills, right? Chills, but I felt kind of warm too at the same time. It wasn't like horrible, but it did kind of keep me up a little bit. And I didn't feel great. Like it wasn't like I was 100%, right? So I wake up in the morning and I just felt a little bit worse, right? I felt a little bit of aches. I also felt, you know, just some like congestion, some stuff like that. And so I don't know, I just got thinking about it and it was like, it didn't feel that bad, but I was like, I wonder, could it be COVID? Like maybe it could be, you know? And so I looked into it a little bit more just to kind of, you know, check all the symptoms and stuff. And it seemed like it's a possibility, right? It's a possibility that it could be. And so I ended up getting tested, and, you know, after a while, finally got my results and found out that that I did have it. But I mean, a couple of the days there, like, I think the biggest thing for me was just feeling really tired. Like I felt really tired. And then there was a day with like headaches. I never lost my sense of taste or smell, except for one weird thing, which was like, I couldn't taste cinnamon for whatever reason. And so like I have this cinnamon gum and I would chew it and it was like, this tastes like chocolate. It was so weird. But like Amy, she totally lost her sense of taste. And so it was interesting that we had those different symptoms. And I will say that it's probably the worst I've felt for a couple years. Now I don't feel like I've been super sick in that time, but I was just trying to think of like, how bad did I feel? Right. And I'll get into a little bit of this as well. But you know, I was thinking the last time I felt that bad was actually when I had shingles. So I got shingles a few years ago, and oh man, that was brutal. Like it started this in my back, just feeling a little bit achy. And then all of a sudden these sores showed up, and it was just like, I couldn't sleep. I seriously could not fall asleep because it just hurt so bad. I couldn't like lay anywhere. I ended up going to the store at like midnight just to see if there was it was probably like 2 a.m. actually, but like to see if there's some sort of, you know, something that I could put on it. Found some things for that. But it was just, I mean, it was brutal. Anytime I moved, it just hurt so bad. So anyways, but back to COVID. So with COVID, the thing is, like, I know that it's real, and I can totally see how this is dangerous, especially for people that have like a weak immune system, you know, older people or other like immune compromised things. Like it is for real, you know, and different people have had totally different reactions. Like even people that are, you know, younger have felt really, really bad. And so I definitely don't want to downplay it at all. I know, having gone through it, it's like, yeah, that's for real. And that's something that can be pretty crazy. And so again, I don't want to downplay it because it is real. So we do need to be safe. We need to take care of each other. But I also want to point out that we have got to be careful. Like, we've got to be really careful because, you know, when the initial lockdown happened in the US, like, you know, we weren't really sure what's going on. There wasn't a lot of data. There was, you know, all these things kind of going on. Well, the thing that happened though, when that happened is, you know, school shut down, everyone was at home, that there's actually an increase in domestic violence. There was also increase, and there's studies now that we've done on this that show that, you know, there's more people are having, you know, mental health problems. More people are thinking about suicide, and, you know, more people are having, you know, a lot of people have lost jobs. Like, there's so many things that have happened because of this, and I am really feel grateful for, you know, the things that have been okay for us, and that, you know, we haven't had to deal with some of that. Now there has been tough times. I feel like there's been like stress, there's been worry, there's been other things, but not to extreme of some of the other things that people are going through. And so I want us to just be careful that, like, and real quick to kind of illustrate the point, I want to just talk about, so I am naturally someone that just loves to help. I love to help other people. That's one reason I do this. I want to provide value. I want to help people. And it's a lot of fun to do that. And so when Amy and I were first married, like, I just remember there was sometimes some struggles because I just, like, if anyone needed help, you know, like, I would just do it. I would just go do it. And, you know, I remember our parents came to Texas. So we were in Austin, Texas at the time. They were flying in. They needed, you know, a ride. So, like, we were going to pick them up from the airport, but then they needed to get up to Waco. And so it's like an hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes or something like that. And I remember just, like, kind of just assuming, well, like, you know, my parents need help, so yes, I'm going to help them. And Amy's thought, though, was like, well, we actually have some other people coming to town. So if you leave, then you may not really see them. And so, like, I remember her just feeling frustrated that I wanted to just go help. And it was just like a natural thing. Like, yeah, like, that's just what I'm going to do. That's just what I do. But the point of the story is that I kind of missed the point, right? Like, I was so focused on helping other people that I was missing out on what my wife wanted, right? Like, she wanted me to actually be, like, kind of see if this was something that was okay. Hey, we had other people coming. So, like, rather than just jumping on and saying, hey, let's just go do that, then maybe we should kind of discuss this. We should figure out if this is the right thing. And so in that moment, I kind of lost sight of, you know, I mean, truly, my relationship with my wife's more important than any person on earth. And so, you know, that's like, you know what I mean, though? Like, that's what I feel like with COVID, is we just have to be really careful. Like, we have to be really, really careful because, you know, again, it's important to save lives, right? So if it's important to save lives, then we should make sure that we're saving everyone's lives too, and doing things in the right way. Because, again, if a lockdown, if that's going to save some people's lives, but it's also going to endanger other people, we just have to keep that in mind, right? And I'm very grateful that, you know, our kids can go to school right now. I know Europe is very keen on doing that, on keeping schools open, that's like kind of the last thing to shut down, which I totally agree with. I think that's really good, because kids need that time to be able to go see, you know, other people, interact with kids and things like that, and they're not nearly susceptible. You know, a couple of our kids had COVID and they really didn't have any symptoms. And so, you know, it's just, that's the thing. It's really important is to just be really careful that we are, you know, supporting the right thing and not causing other problems, right? Kind of like what I mentioned with that situation with Amy, is that I kind of lost sight of, hey, well, maybe I should have, you know, talked to Amy and been like, oh, well, actually we have other things going on, so we can't really drive you up there, you know. And in the end, I think we ended up helping, taking them to get a rental car so they could drive up or something like that, you know. But anyways, just that's kind of my experience with COVID. Definitely is a real thing, and it is something that we should be aware of. We should try to protect ourselves and protect others, but we also really need to make sure that we are doing the right thing as well, right? With our, you know, with our kids, if if having a lockdown is going to endanger them, obviously we should be the people that are going to take care of them and do that. But just saying across the world that there's going to be situations that happens where kids will be more endangered if they have to be at home 24/7 all the time, right? And so, lockdowns and things like that, we just have to be really careful, be careful that we're not putting other people at risk, because, there's real issues that are also going on there as well. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. Let me know, what things you want me to cover in the future, or any comments you have. I'm happy to share them, and appreciate you watching. It's fun to be able to chat with you in this way. And so anyways, hope you're doing great, and we'll talk to you later. And oh yeah. Wait,